Here's what most of us don't realize about phone addiction. It's not about weakness or lack of self-control. So in this video, I'm breaking down what's actually keeping us hooked and the system to break free. I'm not an expert. I'm still figuring this out just like you. Here's what most of us think phone addiction is. We think we are addicted to our phones, so we try to fix it the obvious way. We delete social media apps, we use screen time limits, we put our phone in another room, and for a day or two, it works. But then something happens. We reinstall the apps, we ignore the time limits, we bring the phone back, and we feel like failures because we couldn't stick to something so simple. But here's what's actually happening. We are not failing because we are weak. We are failing because we are fighting the wrong battle. Our phone isn't the problem. It's what our phone is doing to our brain, and it's not what we would think. Most of us assume phone addiction works like any other addiction. We like something, we do it too much, and we get hooked. But phone addiction is different. It uses a specific trick that's more powerful than almost anything else. The same trick that keeps people at casinos for 12 hours straight. The same trick that makes certain video games impossible to quit. And once you understand what this trick is, you'll see it everywhere. Your phone is a slot machine, and I mean this literally. It's engineered using the same tricks that make gambling addictive. Every time we pick our phone, we are pulling a lever. Every time we refresh Instagram, we are pulling the lever again. Every time we check our notifications, we are hoping for a win. And here's the key part. Sometimes we get a reward, a like, a comment, an interesting video, or a message from someone. But most of the time, we don't. And that unpredictability is what makes it addictive. See, our brain releases dopamine not when we get the reward, but when we anticipate it. And the anticipation is strongest when the reward is unpredictable. This is called variable ratio reinforcement, and it's the most powerful way to control behavior that exists. It's the same trick that keeps gamblers at slot machines for hours. They are not playing because they are winning. They are playing because they might win. That possibility, that uncertainty is what keeps them pulling the lever. This is why slot machines are more addictive than vending machines. A vending machine gives us the same candy every time. Predictable reward, low dopamine, no addiction. A slot machine might give us nothing, or it might make us rich. Unpredictable reward, massive dopamine, instant addiction. Our phone works exactly the same way. Think about what happens when we open Instagram. Sometimes the first post is amazing. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes it's our best friend's story. Sometimes it's an ad. We never know. So our brain floods with dopamine during that moment of anticipation, right before the app loads. That's the hook. The same thing happens with notifications. We hear the buzz or see the red badge. Our brain immediately starts wondering, is it important? Is it interesting? Is someone trying to reach me? That uncertainty drives a dopamine spike. And even when it turns out to be nothing, even when it's just a spam or a meaningless notification, our brain has already gotten its hit. So it keeps coming back for more. We never know if this scroll will show us something amazing or boring. We never know if this notification is important or spam. That uncertainty keeps our brain flooding with dopamine, begging us to check just one more time. Here's what makes it even worse. The apps are designed to maximize this uncertainty. Instagram doesn't show us posts in order anymore. It uses an algorithm that deliberately mixes good content with mediocre content in unpredictable patterns. TikTok doesn't show us videos we will like. It occasionally throws in something random to keep us uncertain about what's coming next. Notifications aren't just alerts. They are deliberately vague, so we have to open the app to resolve the uncertainty. Every design choice is engineered to keep us guessing, because the people building these apps understand something most of us don't. Uncertainty is more addictive than satisfaction. This is what we are actually addicted to, not our phone, not even the apps themselves. The unpredictable dopamine hits they deliver. And here's why understanding this changes everything. Once we realize we are not addicted to our phone, we are addicted to unpredictable rewards. The solution becomes obvious. We don't need more willpower. We don't need to delete our apps. Think about it. If we knew exactly what we would see every time we open Instagram, will we still be addicted? No, because there will be no anticipation, no dopamine rush, no urge to check. The entire thing falls apart. If we knew our notifications were just spam, would we still feel the urge to check them? No, because predictable disappointment doesn't trigger dopamine. Our brain learns there's nothing worth anticipating. The addiction lives in the uncertainty, and once we remove the uncertainty, we remove the addiction. This is fundamentally different from every other approach we've tried. Most solutions treat phone addiction like a discipline problem. They assume we just need to be stronger, more committed, more self-controlled. But that's fighting a battle we can't win, because we are not competing against ourselves. We are competing against teams of engineers and psychologists who spent years designing this app specifically to override our self-control. They have billions of dollars and thousands of hours of research invested into making these apps as addictive as possible. We have willpower. That's not a fair fight. This is why all our previous attempts failed. Deleting apps doesn't remove uncertainty. We just reinstall them to see what we missed, because the uncertainty is still there, unresolved. Our brain needs to know what happened while we were gone. Screen time limits don't remove uncertainty. We override them because the uncertainty is still there, calling us. The app is still on our phone, generating notifications, still creating that feeling of missing out. Putting our phone in another room doesn't remove uncertainty. We bring it back because we need to resolve the uncertainty. Out of sight doesn't mean out of mind. When our brain knows there might be something waiting for us. Every one of these solutions try to create distance between us and our phone. But distance doesn't really solve the problem, because the problem isn't proximity. The problem is that our brain believes there might be a reward waiting. As long as that belief exists, we will find our way back to our phone. But when we understand what's actually happening, we can design a system that actually works. Not by fighting our brain, but by working with it. Not by removing access, but by removing the uncertainty that drives the urge. Our brain doesn't crave the phone. It craves the resolution of uncertainty. Give it predictable patterns instead of unpredictable ones, and the craving disappears. But here's the part most of us miss. Even when we understand the slot machine trick, there's one critical step that determines whether we actually break free or just struggle less. It's not what we would expect, but most advice completely ignores it. Here's the system that actually works. Step 1. Make your phone boring. Turn off all notifications except calls and texts from real people. No social media notifications, no email badges, no app alerts, no news updates, nothing that creates uncertainty. This removes 90% of the unpredictability right there. Your brain can no longer surprise you with dopamine hits throughout the day. Be ruthless with this. If an app doesn't need to notify you in real time, turn it off. Most of us keep notifications on because we are afraid of missing something important. But here's the truth. If you are watching this video, you're probably not someone that if you miss a call or respond to a text late, something catastrophic will happen. Step 2. Schedule your dopamine. Instead of checking Instagram whenever you feel like it, check it once at a specific time. Maybe that's 7 p.m. after dinner. Maybe that's during your lunch break. The specific time doesn't matter. What matters is that it's predictable. When the reward becomes predictable, our brain stops obsessing over it. We're not fighting the urge all day because we know exactly when we will get the reward. The uncertainty is gone. Here's what this looks like in practice. Set a specific 30-minute window each day for social media. Put it in your calendar like any other appointment. During that window, you can scroll freely without guilt. But outside that window, the apps are off limits. The first few days will feel weird. Your brain will resist the schedule because it's used to on-demand dopamine, but stick with it for a week. By day 7, your brain adapts to the predictability. The compulsive urges start to fade because there's nothing to anticipate anymore. Step 3. Remove the slot machine apps from your home screen. Or better yet, delete the apps and only use the browser versions. Every extra step between you and the dopamine creates friction, and friction breaks the automatic habit loop. Here's why this works. Most phone addiction isn't conscious. We don't decide to check Instagram. We find ourselves doing it automatically. Our brain sees the app icon, recognizes the pattern, and executes the behavior before your conscious mind catches up. But when we add friction, we interrupt that automatic pattern. Having to search for the app or type in a URL or logging into a browser version creates a pause. That pause gives your conscious mind time to catch up and ask, do I actually want to do this right now? Most of the time, the answer is no. We were just acting on autopilot. Step 4. Replace unpredictable dopamine with predictable dopamine. Here's the step most of us skip, and it's why we fail even when we do everything else right. You can't just remove unpredictable dopamine. You have to replace it. Your brain still needs dopamine. It's not about deprivation. It's about getting it from sources that don't hijack your behavior. Reading a book gives us predictable dopamine. We know we will enjoy it. There's no uncertainty, no urge. Working out gives us predictable dopamine. The pump happens every time, reliably. Making progress on a project gives us predictable dopamine. We complete a task, we feel good. It's consistent. These activities satisfy our brain dopamine needs without creating compulsive behavior. Here's the difference. Unpredictable dopamine creates craving. Predictable dopamine creates satisfaction. Craving makes us check our phone 100 times a day. Satisfaction makes us feel content after finishing a chapter. The goal isn't to eliminate dopamine. The goal is to shift from unpredictable sources that create addiction to predictable sources that create fulfillment. And when we make that shift, something interesting happens. Our phone becomes just a tool again, not something we have the urge to reach for, but something we use intentionally when we need it. The system works because we're not fighting our biology. We are redesigning our environment so our biology works for us instead of against us. We're not trying to be stronger than the engineers who built these apps. We are just opting out of the game they designed. Now, breaking your phone addiction is just one piece of the puzzle, because the same principle that keeps you addicted to your phone applies to all discipline. Once you understand what discipline actually is, everything from your phone habits to your work ethic to your health becomes easier. In this video, I break down the 5 biggest misunderstandings about discipline. Remember, the path is yours to walk, and as always, I'm in your corner rooting for you.